Yeah, yep.
All right, I'll call the meeting to order.
And
First order of business is to review minutes of last month's meeting. Have you taken a look at those, Rosie? I have a copy of that on my phone as well.
the same one. Yes, but this is just the rest of the stuff also.
Okay, great.
I borrowed this.
Here you go. Do you need one? Okay. I just need a motion when you finish.
You all set with the minutes?
Yeah.
Rose, you good with the minutes?
I am.
All right.
So you
I'd
just
like to
need
make a motion to
Yeah.
approve the minutes.
Motion accepted.
All those in favor? Okay.
Aye.
The next item on the agenda was 204 Eastern Avenue, number 2, and the landlord had called me, and he's ill and couldn't attend, so I'd asked that if we could just table it until next month.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Next is Lisa's licenses for food pantry, if we just need to discuss scheduling a public hearing.
So last month, or excuse me, December, we voted to follow the 2013 food code and to not require those type 1 food establishments that only served prepackaged foods to get a license. Thinking about it, that would include food pantries because they give out prepackaged dry goods, none of it's temperature controlled for safety. We were discussing this as a whole and thinking that because food pantries generally serve a highly susceptible population, that we may want to still require a food license for food pantries, even though they are omitted from having to get one from the food code. So it would be a local regulation, and there would be no cost. They've been getting them up until now. There's been no, we don't charge them a license fee. We just want to make sure that the food inspectors are able to get in there once or twice a year and make sure there's no pest control problems, make sure the food that they're giving out is not expired, make sure it's being stored in sanitary conditions. I'm not 100% sure how most of the food pantries work. I don't know if they get food during the month and store it. I'm not sure if they get food, a delivery from Greater Boston Food Bank one day and pass it out the next day, but we kind of felt that overall it may just be best to be able to kind of keep our hands and keep a listing of the food pantries that we have in the city. And again, like I said, they're not going to be charged. They're not going to be doing anything different than they've already been doing. But in order to do it appropriately, it should be a local board of health regulation because technically under the food code, those type of food establishments are not required to have a food license.
It's mostly to, I think, just to ensure that, you know, that there aren't any avenues where anybody could get sick. You know, that there's no food, you know, food that's expired on the shelves or, you know, in the pest control and things. It's really more of just protecting everybody.
I mean, they don't get a graded inspection. It's not like we're going to put an A or a B on the food pantry. Those type of locations don't get those kind of grades. So it'll be business as usual for the food pantries. They won't even notice anything different. It's just that we will have the right regulations in place that if anybody questions why we're doing it, we can say, you know, we voted in February of 2022 to require food pantries to maintain food licenses despite the fact that the food code doesn't require them to get one. Now, my brother's table is a little bit of a different story because that's a soup kitchen, and because they do prepare temperature control for safety food, they're always going to be required by the food code to get a food license. So we're really just talking about the people who give all the canned goods, the you know, cereal and bread and things like that. I just still do think, given the number of them in the city, and just to make sure that, you know, things are going smoothly, I would hate to think that people who are well-meaning are getting donations from places that aren't, where food's not approved, or, I don't know, I just kind of had visions
And
of
just to
someone.
make sure, like, it's not spoiled. or
Right,
it's not,
like
you
I
know,
just
like,
had visions of some like well-meaning, nice person, like going to the supermarket and saying, hey, can I have all your expired canned goods, and then saying they have a food pantry at their
Right.
church and passing it out to
Right.
people, and that's really not the purpose of a food pantry either, so.
And I think too, and we don't have an attorney here, but isn't it 30 days that we have to advertise?
I believe so, I can check that.
Okay, so we missed the March one, so it won't be
We can
until,
do it in April, because,
Okay.
like I said, everybody's got one right now, and I
Yeah.
don't think anybody's due to expire, so I don't think we're gonna have any problems with that. And then, but it should be a public hearing, because we wanna make it a regulation for the city, so the right way to do it is to have a public hearing and allow people to come to it.
so I would just need a motion to schedule a public hearing, but we need to, I think that the rule is you have to give a 30-day notice. So since February's only 28, we wouldn't
Yeah,
get,
technically, yeah.
right,
Probably
so
30 days, yeah.
I'd have to do it for
April.
April board meeting. All right, so if I could just have a motion, please?
Saturday?
You made the motion?
Yes.
Alrighty. I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I'll just give you a quick COVID update. So this Monday and today's cases are not, like yesterday's cases, we only had 2, but that was due to the fact that all the testing sites were closed during the storm. Today we had 52, which I still is low because on Friday we had 151. So I think just up until the testing gets, back up and running again and people go, but I would like to think that there is a decrease, but Essex County necessarily has not seen that decrease.
I've not seen it yet.
No. We had, Mayor Nicholson had a town forum last Wednesday, a week ago tomorrow, and we had some infectious disease physicians from Salem Hospital and Lynn Community Health Center. And everyone agreed that the decline, the plateau hasn't happened in Essex County. So, as of today, Lynn has not seen the plateau either. So those cases continue. The vaccine clinics. So in Lynn, you can get a vaccine Monday through Saturday. Mondays and Fridays here at City Hall at the Public Health Department. Tuesday, Salem Hospital has a little van, and they're out at the Brickyard Collaborative over on Linden Street, and you can go there Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Over at North Shore Community College, Catalda Ambulance has a setup there so that you can go there also. So vaccines are available Monday through Saturday. Testing sites, the testing site on the Linway, Project Beacon. Curative is at North Shore Community College, and Lynn Community Health Center also has a testing site, but I think that that's for their patients only.
It's for their patients only, is that what you
Yep,
said?
yep.
How's the turnout been for the vaccinations?
So we've seen a huge increase in first doses for a lot of Guatemalan families.
Really? First doses?
First doses.
Wow.
So,
Too.
yep. And they come in, they come like 4 or 5 at a time.
Yeah.
And all for first doses. And children too. So that's very good. Usually we average 150, 200. So this numbers they're still coming. So as long as people want to be up to date, meaning that you've, so I'll get my up to date. For instance, I'm up to date. I've had 2 Moderna vaccines and a booster. So if you've had, for Moderna and Pfizer, if you've had your 2 vaccines and a booster, you're considered up to date. If you're J&J, you could have a, the 1 shot and then a booster of, whether it's J&J or if you do a Moderna booster or a Pfizer booster, then you'd be considered up to date. So we still find that we are getting families who do come for first doses and boosters also. So they are successful in that respect, so.
Great.
And they'll be continued. We're waiting on a shipment for the tests again, the test kits, because the city had ordered some, so we're waiting for our delivery of that, and we'll discuss with the mayor the proper distribution as to where they're going to be distributed. And old business, Lisa has asked that we bring up Sin City again for the acidified rice.
So every location in the city that makes sushi, they have to come before the Board of Health to ask for variance to the food code to prepare acidified rice, because acidified rice can cause foodborne, it can grow bacteria at a quicker rate. And you have to have a special plan called a HACCP plan, Hazards Analysis Critical Control Points Plan, to ensure that it's done safely and well. There's 2 parts to that plan. It's the written plan that they have to submit, and it includes things like what are all the critical control points, how do you manage the points, what is your specific equipment, like what is the thermometer that you're using, what is the rice cooker that you're using, what are the test strips that you're using, what are the actual ingredients, and any change in the ingredients requires a change in your plan. So there's the written part, which they've already submitted and has passed with the food inspectors. We're waiting to do their inspection, and they're going to be ready for that this week. And rather than having to make them wait a whole nother week. There's just one caveat. So, Sin City Superette is operated by the same owner as Nightshade Noodle Bar. Okay? The same employee who is going to be working at Sin City Superette doing the sushi, because her sole job at that location is a sushi, is also going to would also like to do the sushi at Nightshade. Nightshade's trying to promote the sushi before the Superette opens, because they're dealing with finishing up their trade permits, their electrical and plumbing permits. They need those inspectors to come in, sign off on those permits before I can let the food inspectors in to do the inspection at the actual location. They're right next to each other. So, in the sense of being business friendly, because it's essentially the same operations under the same owner, under the same person in charge, under the same serve safe and allergen, under the same exact HACCP plan. Nothing will be different. It's just going to be done, at 63 Exchange Street or 65 Exchange Street. I'd actually like to ask for a variance for acidified rice pending approval of their inspection to occur this week at both Nightshade Noodle and Sin City Superette, because it's the same exact plan, it's the same exact people.
So I have 71 Exchange Street,
Okay.
but is that?
Those are the right addresses. I have like 3 different things going on Exchange Street right
I'm
now.
sorry,
so I can't
okay.
keep track. No,
So-
that's the right address, 71.
All right, but can you just clarify then for me? So she's going to do, whoever is going to do acidified rice for the variance at, so should we also put here then Sin City and Nightshade? Yeah, okay,
Please.
okay, all right, okay.
I just think it's just appropriate. It's just kind of a technicality, but you know what, just to have it all saved and be on the right board
Yep,
with it.
yep. I didn't give it to you, John. I didn't know she was gonna bring it back up, but I will, so I would ask for a motion to approve Lisa's request that Sin City Superette and Nightshade Noodle, is it Nightshade Noodle Bar?
Mm-hmm.
Nightshade Noodle Bar be approved for their acidified rice plan.
Question?
Nope. But
I
the-
always feel like I see thinking behind those eyes.
But pending a satisfactory on-site inspection.
Correct. The woman who's doing the sushi for them is actually the woman who was doing it out of John's Roast Beef as Sushi Mommy. So her whole plan has actually been approved previously at another location, but again, because it's new locations, they're going through the whole thing again. The inspectors need to see it at that location. And the inspectors will go and do it at Sin City Super Red as well, just to make sure it's all on board.
Awesome.
But yeah, it seemed like something easy to do to help the businesses.
Yep.
Rosie, you'd like to make a motion? All right, I'll second it.
Motion allowed.
Thank you. And I don't have any other old business. Do you? Lisa, you? No? So that, and our next meeting date would be March 1st, 2022. I would also just like to inform the board that Dr. Staridi will be stepping down at a date not set yet. He's been very kind to give us notice and so that we can search for another physician to replace him on the board. So, and that, John is in the process right now. I spoke to the mayor and his chief of staff, and they are starting the process.
Okay, great.
Just so you can, but thank you, and I was trying to go back to remember, because you and I were on the board together, so I was trying to, you've been on this for quite some time.
It has been quite a while. I'm not sure how long.
I want to say like 1999 or 2000.
That long?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I was in fifth grade in
Wow.
1999.
I knew it was a while. I didn't know how it was that long.
Yes, it's been quite a long time.
Wow.
So
Thank you for your service.
I know, thank you very much.
Sure.
It was different when I was on the other side with you as opposed to this side, but it's been at least, because I was trying to go back and remember, I was like, oh boy, he's been at least 2000.
Wow.
So thank you very much.
You guys
It's
have done
been
a
a
lot of
pleasure.
things since your time.
That's for sure. And if not, I'll just seek, if you have anything else to add, or, no? I'll just ask for a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn, allowed.
I second the motion.
Thank
All those in
you.
favor?
Thank you.
Aye.